Today is my week 9 recap, and in this video I'm going to talk about stick-to-itiveness and the only real exercise that you can do to help get rid of the voice in your head that talks you out of everything. You know what I'm talking about. What's up, everybody? It's Chase with Energy to Conquer, and today is day 64 on my experimental journey to increasing my energy, my mental clarity, and my overall focus. And guys, today is about stick-to-itiveness. That's such a fun word to say. It's not a real word. I picked that up somewhere, and I'm trying to think this morning, where did I get that from? I think it might have came from the 75 Hard book. Maybe Andy Frisella. I'm not 100% sure, but that's such a cool word. Stick-to-itiveness, right? Your ability to stick to things, right? That's what this is about. And a lot of times this comes back to the voice in our head that talks us out of things. And we all know what we're talking about. Andy Frisella calls it your bitch voice, your inner bitch voice that talks you into doing the things that you shouldn't do, right? We know what we should do, but most of the time we end up doing the opposite. And if you ever struggle to stick with fitness programs, stick to diets, that's the problem. It's a conversation just going on up here in your head, and it's affecting your stick-to-itiveness. So guys, this is my recap blah, 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 blah. This is my recap on week 9. So if you go back and you watch my recap on week 8, screwed that up trying to get a routine, fitness routine, a workout routine, doing an AM and a PM. And I failed miserably, made some adjustments, come back, got back up, right? Fall down 9 times, get up 10, how many ever it takes. You just got to get up more than you fall. That's how we learn, that's how we grow. None of us are perfect. When we set this idea that we're perfect, right, we set ourselves up to fail. When we set this idea that we're going to be perfect, I guess, and we're not going to fail, we're set ourselves up to fail, right? Through imperfection, right? We got to be willing to be imperfect before we can become perfect, right? We got to be willing to do things terribly before we can ever get to doing them good. And if we approach things from that viewpoint, it makes things a lot easier, and it helps you jump into things a lot easier, because you're kind of expecting to do terrible as you start, because it's actually part of the process, right? So don't get caught up in the lies. Guys, I went up into a bunch of detail on this stuff the week before last, so week 51 through 55, and then day 56. So guys, yeah, this video, like, so, you know, from this week was I changed the time on my workouts. So I was doing an AM and a PM, and so I'm on the 75 hard, and so I've got to do 2 45-minute workouts. But I knew before doing that, a long time ago, before I ever completed the 75 hard last year, the benefits of doing an AM and a PM workout. And it gives you a lot more energy, but also it just gives you more focus and concentration. So whether you're doing 30-minute, 40-minute, maybe even 20-minute, I don't care, whatever it is, like it's like your I guess metabolism, maybe it's your blood flow, maybe it's your breathing, just kind of revs them up, right? Revs them up, right? But the thing is, like, when you do it first thing in the morning, you rev it up and it just kind of goes down the rest of the day. But if you rev it up in the morning, then come back in the afternoon or evening, rev it up again, right? You kind of stay, you get a lot of up time, and you don't just kind of slow drift back down, right? It's not like a slow decline. So anyways, I ain't getting into that. There's some other videos on that in the channel, you just have to look through them. But the big thing today was, like, or this week, was sticking to it. And so I did a 8 o'clock, it's my start, or my first workout, and then between 3:30 and 4. So I try to shoot for 3:30 to 4 for my second workout. And so just kind of a little bit flexible on there. And I hit that for the most part this week. There was a couple days I didn't. I had a unique schedule towards the end of the week, and I was doing a bunch of planning, so it got a little bit off. But for the most part, I stuck to it, and I'm happy with that. And I can tell you the benefits from that. Also, I started doing some HIIT workouts in between my strength training. I did a video on that earlier in the week. And with that, you know, hands down, that's going to increase your energy, as long as you're, you know, depending on where you're at physically. Like, if you're physically, you get exhausted from walking for 30 minutes, okay, it's probably going to have a negative effect. But if you're somewhat in shape or somewhat used to doing more physical things, try it, give it a shot. You know, I'm not a doctor, so check with your doctor, whatever you need to do whatever heart rate you need to hit. So I didn't really focus. I was focused time on, time off, and you can look up HIIT. It's high intensity interval training. You can look that up and look for heart rates and different things, but just consult with your doctor, right? Don't come sue me because you have a heart attack. Right? So anyways, for sure that increased my energy throughout the day doing that, especially doing AM PM version of that. And I was only doing 5 minutes, so it was really just doing like 2 sessions of 5 minutes in the AM workout and then in the PM workout. So in the middle of the strength training workout I do it, and then in the end kind of get my blood flow, get my oxygen up, just get my heart going, everything moving, right? It also helps deliver, you know, vital nutrients and stuff to your muscles while you're working out, and kind of recovers them in a bit way if you do it in the middle. So a lot of benefits of that. I did a video on that a long time ago. Go look back to first the channel, but that's kind of what I was doing. But here's the thing, just to kind of wrap up this video and kind of get to the point here. But the thing is, you know, it's that stick-to-itiveness. It's that ability to manage time. Was really what this was about, was time management, to stick to an AM and a PM workout. And the thing is, when we do that, that becomes like, that's how we develop this muscle, because really it's a skill and it's a muscle to not listen to that inner voice that tries to talk us out of everything. And you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the voice, well, you've worked hard this week, you don't need to get up early and work out. Or it's the conversation in your head that, well, you've done really good on your diet, what's one meal, right? And then one meal turns into 2, 3, 4. Next thing you know, you're completely off your diet, right? We've all been there, we all know this. So how do you exercise strength in that? You know, you can just go out and do it, or you can make it intentional, kind of make it an exercise and a practice. And if you can master, you know, 1 workout, maybe 2 workouts a day, and start there, that's going to give you confidence. It's going to give you self-esteem, and it's going to help you, because you're going to know, if I got to get 2 workouts in, I can't really screw around this morning, right? I ain't got time to entertain this conversation in my head. I don't have time to lay around in bed for an extra 15, 20 minutes. I ain't got time to hit snooze, right? Because it's going to screw up my whole day. And so when you set these hard limits and you go and you do it for a couple days, and you're going to fail, right? You're going to screw up. There's going to be days you're not going to make it, but you just got to not let that turn into defeat, but let that fuel you, right? Because you know you're better than that. But if you start beating yourself down, saying, I'm terrible, I can't never stick to anything, right? You're just going to beat yourself down. But if you're like, I'm better than this, I can do it, what the hell's wrong with me? Look, I just got to get my shit together. I'm not doing this again, right? And you build that momentum, or that motivation, use that kind of dark side of motivation to fuel you up and not send you down, right? And cause you to completely fail and stop and not get up. So when you do that, you're exercising this muscle of silencing the critic in your head, the voice in your head, because you don't have time. Like, you know, it's pointless to debate, because you just got to get it done, right? And that's one of the things I love about the 75 Hard program. And really, this is something I learned from 75 Hard program, is because you've got so much stuff you got to get done, you don't have time to negotiate in your head. And it's really these negotiations that's trying to talk you out of stuff, and that's what talks most people out of their diets. Now, their fitness plan, like, that is the mental toughness game, is eliminating those negotiations, right? You got to be strong enough to not even engage in the negotiations with yourself. And it sounds like, you know, when I talk about this, like having conversations with yourself, and it sounds kind of crazy when you step back and look at it, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Just 1 piece of chocolate cake won't hurt, right? I don't like chocolate cake, but I know a lot of people do. Anyways, so guys, that's the exercise. It just set something, and then stick to it, right? And practice. You're going to fail. You're going to get off track. Like, that's expected. But just get back up and keep doing it till you nail it, right? When you get off track, use that as motivation. Don't use it as a club or a stick to beat yourself with, right? Use it as motivation. Like, I'm better than this. I can do this, right? Like, I screwed up. What lesson can I learn and move forward? That's kind of what I did last week. You can go back and watch that video on the recap for last week. And so that's kind of this process. And the truth is, kind of getting on this routine, going from, you know, being sporadic and trying to nail it down. Maybe I needed 2 weeks, right? You know, maybe I needed to fail at first, and it's still going to be an ongoing process to get, because the goal is ultimately to make this just a daily habit, and it's just something I do at this time and this time. That's my goal. You know, sometimes I'm going to have things in my schedule where it's not going to work, But my default, right, it's resetting that default that this is my new default, and that's going to take more than 2 weeks, obviously. So it's something I'm going to continue to work on. But that's going to build self-esteem. It's going to build motivation, right? It's going to help me silence the voice in my head. It's trying to talk me out of doing it. Just like, this is just what I do. I got to do it. It's not an option. You make things not an option, because when we make things options, we lose our ability to stick to things, and it comes back to that stick-to-itiveness, right? So that's kind of what this week was about. And I've got a lot of other things that we're going to be adding on as we go forward. And some other things, you know, it's going to require a little bit more time. Some things are going to be more diet related. I failed the 75 hard about 3 days ago because I forgot to take a picture, but I'm getting ready to revamp the diet and move into more of a food combining diet. And I'm probably going to do some macros with the food combining diet, which is going to be interesting. And so I need to work through that today. I'm going to get back on that. I'm still doing most of the 75 hard stuff. It's just I'm not keeping track of the days. So I got to get the diet really dialed in. And so I'm kind of working on that right now. I've got about 6 books I ordered about a month ago on food combining, just for this purpose, to get this diet dialed in. So I kind of don't want to start and then commit for the 75 days and need to switch up the diet and have to start over, right? So I'm kind of, and maybe that's what I need to do, but you know, I'm just kind of doing it, still doing my workouts, still doing, you know, a lot of things, but, or most of it, I'm just not counting. But today and tomorrow, I'm really going to sit down and focus. I was hoping to get all that done last week, but I didn't, and just kind of lock in some rules for the diet. But so that's kind of where I'm at coming into next week. And so, you know, I'm going to start some new stuff next week, and I'll go over that with you tomorrow in the kickoff video. But guys, that's it, right? Like the stick-to-itiveness, you know, week 9, my biggest takeaway, number 1 is the HIIT's going to give you, I'm not saying you need to do 30 or 45 minutes, but just a little bit. It's going to make you, it's just, man, it just gets you firing on all cylinders. So, you know, that's a big takeaway. The other takeaway is just, you know, when you fail, get back up and hit it. You know, when you're trying to change your schedule, it's hard, right? And you're going to screw up. So don't beat yourself up. Just get back up and go after it. Number 3 is going to be, you know, it's so important to your building your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-confidence, even your ability to silence that voice in your head, right? And actually your mental toughness is through doing what I did, where I just set, you know, something as simple as my workouts 2 times a day and just forcing myself to stick to them. That time management. Time management is like such an ugly word, such a nasty word in society, but it's really a good thing because you get a lot of benefits from it that society don't talk about, right? Because it's cool to fly by the seat of your pants. And if you do anything other than that, you're rigid, right? So anyways, like that just builds on everything. Like if you're having trouble sticking to diets, like it's a self-discipline. And if you want to help develop that self-discipline, right, this is an easy way to do it. I'm not saying don't try to do your diet. I'm not saying to give up on your diet. You know, maybe you can get 2 meals a day. Just focus on that, right? Focus on how good it feels when you hit that goal. Kind of just bathe in that moment when you hit your goal, right? And feel good and like celebrate. Not celebrate, but do celebrate in your head, right? I'm not saying you need to go have like a party or something or crash your diet because you hit your diet, right? Not that kind of celebration. You don't need to go get wasted drunk, right? You don't need champagne. Just kind of a little bathe in the moment in your mind, right? And then just take in how it feels. Kind of just breathe in the moment, right? Close your eyes. Say, man, this feels great. Kind of set those anchors, but that's a different conversation, you know. But just enjoy the moment. Celebrate the victories. Like you ain't got to have, you know, banners and balloons and stuff, but you can just celebrate that moment in your mind, and you can kind of look back on that and use that for motivation. And as we set those little anchors like that, we just kind of build on those, and we set little milestones and we celebrate, set little milestones and we celebrate. And that's kind of, we build positive momentum. That's what we do. But anyways, guys, you know, set some hard time frames for something you want to do and stick to it. You know, it don't matter what your schedule is. Maybe you need to just get up. Maybe for some people, honestly, that's just not hitting the snooze and getting up on time. Or maybe get up 15 minutes earlier, so you got 15 minutes extra on your day, and just see how big of a difference that makes at the end of a week. Just try it. It ain't fun, right? When you start making these changes, and it's not easy, but when you do it, you feel good, right? Maybe you got an extra 15 minutes in the morning to sit outside and drink a cup of coffee and listen to the birds if it's summertime, right? Or whatever it is you do. Maybe it's you got an extra 15 minutes to sit and listen to something, or maybe just get to work 15 minutes early and not be so rushed. So whatever it is, maybe you just got 15 minutes to yourself before you have to wake up the kids, right? And before all hell breaks loose. Like, it can be simple stuff, simple stuff. Don't overcomplicate things, guys. And when you fall, get back up. That's all I got for you today. Hope you guys have a blessed one.